Well peeps, that's me halfway down to the resi. Had a break, had some water, bit of a chocolate bath, boost myself, and I'm heading back. So like I say, I'm going to be doing about 5 miles today, nice and easy one. I did a video the other day in regards to veterans and how on YouTube and other social platforms they're constantly sniping at one another, and I had some nice comments back from people saying, "Hey Nobs, don't worry about it, mate." Thanks very much for your concern, peeps. Greatly appreciated. But I just wanted to point out about the fact that, you know, as veterans we should be sticking together. And the reason I say that is just on Saturday I attended the Leicestershire and Rutland REME Breakfast Club for the second time. Now I did a video before when I went the first time and introduced you to a couple of the guys. But Lee and Mickey, what it was the venue had to change from the pub where ironically me and Lisa met up, the Crown in Anstey, but because of change of ownership and everything like that, we've had to move venue to a lovely pub in Thurkeston called the Wheatsheaf. And to Fiona, who took care of us on Saturday, thank you very much, Fiona. Really appreciated it was by everyone. Attendance there was 31, and from what Lee was saying, that's the highest number they've ever had at one of the REME breakfast clubs. But, yeah, highest attendance at one of the REME breakfast clubs, and it was good to see. But you could see that, you know, it was guys getting together, having a bit of banter. A lot of the time it was finding out about what they were up to. And I met up with a bloke called Dave, sat down and had breakfast with him, and Dave's an ex-metalsmith. And we were just chatting away, and it turns out both of us served at roughly the same time, from 1977 through to 2000. And I mentioned a couple of metalsmiths that I knew, and Dave knew them, one of them being Doc Sysons. He was the guy that gave me my very first nickname when I tore my first unit. And I've explained to you about that one, I won't go into more details. But proper name was Trevor, and Dave knew him because apparently they were down in the Falklands together at the time. The other one was Mick Caveney. Me and Mick served together at 3 Battalion REME. Well, we started off in Detmold and we ended up at Barker Barracks in Paderborn. And another one was Billy Grant. Me and Billy were together at the Royal Scots in Verl. But it was so strange talking about these guys that we both knew. And as I said to Dave, you know, when he goes to the next Metalsmiths reunion, if Doc, Mick or Billy's there, could he please pass my number on, because I'd like to get in touch with him. There's lots of guys that I'd like to get in touch with. Been in touch with a few of them. Willie Gordon and Scass Parry. Yeah, we must meet up, guys, that's the big thing. We must get ourselves together and reminisce on the old days. But like I say, the post that I put in was just a concern about how veterans were sniping at one another, when in actual fact we should be working with each other, you know, in whatever we do. I know I do. Like I say, in the post at the beginning, when I started today, I went out and saw Charlie. Charlie I've never met before. Veteran that was been struggling, finally managed to get himself a bungalow and needs some appliances and furniture to sort himself out. So that's why I went out and dropped off the fridge. Yeah. It's no use to me, it was just sat in my shed. But this is what veterans are all about. The Veterans Hub that I go to on a Friday in Loughborough. We've had some new people attend on Friday. They couldn't believe the camaraderie and everything like that, you know, something that they'd missed. It was the same when I went down to Jackdaw, up Jackdaw. There was a guy there, ex-Royal Green Jacket, and he said, you know, he'd steered away from going to remembrance services and reunions and everything like that. But then after a day and a night with me, Keith and the boys and everything down at up Jackdaw, he turned around and said, do you know what, this is what I've been missing. And that's the big thing, it's that detachment, isn't it? When you leave the services, yeah, you get detached from what was your family life, your family and friends. And it's something that 26 years on, yeah, I still miss it. Yeah, even though I've got my mates and everything like that, as veterans, you know, it's that case of, you know, once you're away from them, you start to go, well, what do I do now? You know, what do I talk about? It's like yesterday, I finally found my parachute logbook, and I might have mentioned it to you. I did a skydive from 15,000 feet in a hailstorm. And I found my logbook and I found the page where I'd done my report on it. And Lisa knew about this skydive. You know, I'd mentioned it to her on numerous occasions. But for her to see it in writing about what had happened, you know, to come through that. And I actually watched a YouTube film the other day of someone else that jumped in a hailstorm, and do you know what, he did exactly the same as I did. He tried to protect his face, he tried turning on his back and then realising that there was blokes below him, so he couldn't do that. But it's reminiscing about things at the moment where I just look at my life and realise so much has been crammed into it. 66 years, yeah, I've put so much into my life. Some of it I enjoyed, some of it I didn't. You know, but that's life, isn't it? That's the way that we are. But the majority, I would say, I've absolutely enjoyed. Really have. And there was a video the other day by a guy, and he was on about the fact of, you know, waking up in the morning and realising that life is good. And as I replied to James, that's what I do every morning. Every morning that I wake up is a bonus. And if I can do something in that day, then I'll go out and do it. I've actually been asked by one of our youth organisations in the village if I would mind going in and doing a presentation about volunteering, because there's a lot of you will know I do a lot of volunteering around the village, such as doing flood warden, lollipop duties, everything like that. And to me, I'm giving something back to the community, which I believe is very beneficial, not only for them, it's beneficial for me. It puts my head back in the place where it should be, not worrying about all the crap that goes on nowadays. Yeah, so I'm quite happy to volunteer to do anything. You know, I do the repair cafe. We've actually got a bloke from the repair shop coming to our next event in April, which we're all looking forward to. You know, to actually meet someone that's on the telly that does this same thing that we do and bring joy back to people's faces. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. But that's what I mean about life today. Everyone, it's like when I'm doing lollipop duty, a number of parents that come running down when I'm stood in the road and I've got a car that I'm stopped, you know, because they're coming across the road. And suddenly they start running. I always say to them, it's a couple of seconds, yeah, it's not going to hurt them. But everyone's in a rush to go nowhere. Everyone's in a rush to earn or have lots of money and do things. Yeah, it's great to be able to do that if you've got the money. But put it into perspective. Yeah, if you've got loads of money, yeah, I've seen some of these houses around this area. Yeah, some of them, their garage is bigger than my house. Now that to me is just showing off. Yeah. But have they got a good life? Are they working their backsides off to get there? Well, if they are, yeah, best of luck to them. But at the end of the day, you can't take it with you. And like I say, for me, I wake up in the morning, I make it as enjoyable as I possibly can. I get my tasks done, I get my tabbing done if I'm going out. I do various bits and pieces. But it's balancing that life, isn't it? And I know when people are working, that can be a bit of a problem. Yeah. Especially in the fact that you get a lot of businesses keep pushing. They want that little bit more out of you, more and more. Yeah, because at the end of the day, they want their shareholders to get their dividends. And as I turned around and said when I was working for Rutland, I said to one of the business managers, because he'd said you've got to think about the shareholder. I said, well, the shareholder don't care about me, so why should I care about him? I will do my job to the best of my ability, yeah, but I will not push myself or push myself away from my family, yeah, and not have a balanced work-life relationship. But some people do, and it's not the thing to do, guys. Yeah, putting the extra effort in sometimes doesn't benefit you. And I've come across it. I know my wife Lisa has as well, where we've put in the extra effort and we've been turned over. So sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I must admit, with my boss when I was working at Metro Toledo, Per and also Brian, who was the IT manager before him, were brilliant. They knew that if they asked me, would you mind doing an extra couple of hours to try and sort this out, they knew that I would gladly help them, because I knew when it came to what I needed time, especially with my golf work and everything like that, if I needed an extra couple of hours or an extra couple of days, I could tell them and say, right, I need to take some time in lieu. And virtually every single time wasn't a problem, because it was a bit of give and take. But there's a lot of businesses out there just want take. And if you're involved in those companies, yeah, have a real think about it. Because at the end of the day, is it benefiting you? Yeah, it's got to work both ways. Anyway, I've rambled on again, you know. God, don't need to go on that old kid. But I'm heading back home now, and all I'll say is, if you're new to my channel and you're considering subscribing, please feel free to do so. Yeah, and if you do subscribe, yeah, just drop me a note. But I'm asking you to consider it, not telling you what to do, because we don't do that on this channel, do we? No, we don't. I just had a B-52 bomber of a bee just hit me in the chest. But yeah, so if you do subscribe, just drop me a little message and say who you are, because I like to reply to my subscribers. I like to have that little bit of banter with them. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys get on. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. And as me and Keith always say, let's tab.